Don in London. Hello. December 21st, 2009. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My addictive substance, alcohol. My behaviour, quite addictive to work, relationships, collecting, material. You name it, I could do it, and do it to excess, because I believed in perfection, I guess. All my upbringing was about doing it, because it took the edge off. It made me feel joyful, happy, sleepy, relaxed, entertained, sad, unhappy, hateful, loving, you name it. Every emotion seemed to be available to me when I drank. And it did take the edge off. And what it tended to do was, when I wasn't drinking, suppress my feelings, emotions, and understanding of life. So I never really understood what was going on with my feelings. And the primary one inside me often was fear. Fear of being found out, fear of being less than other people, hence the striving to be perfect, and never so, never perfect. And what I've learned now in a journey of recovery, which is quite a while, an acceptable length of time to actually get some sort of understanding and perspective, is that I can understand my feelings as they are today, just for today and no more. So what helps me do this? Well, family, friends, community, professionals kept me alive long enough. I even went to a rehab, and it was £25 a day, which is about $50 or less, $30 a day. So it was a very utilitarian rehab. But what it did afford me was the luxury, as a homeless person, to actually have a roof over my head, be tormented by community groups and one-to-one sessions. And I mean tormented, because I was a very reluctant student. And at the same time, it gave me the opportunity to go to meetings of the Fellowship of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. And the difference between rehab and AA was, rehab felt very unloving, very predatorial, very uncomfortable. But AA meetings offered sanctuary to be me, to be myself, and not be tormented by those inner demons which were being, I suppose, winkled out of me when I was in rehab. But I've done it all before. And the problem is, if we've done all the theoretical, intellectual, you name it, the thinking process of, yes, I know why I'm the way I am, and why you're still digging down into me, without giving me the opportunity to deal with the anger, the frustration, and the denials that have gone on over the years, what sort of action will I do? Well, I self-discharged and ran away, went to the nearest bar and off licence and got loaded. But the AA fellowship offered a way out, and although the journey was rocky, and believe you me, being homeless is not a good state to be in, especially if you're not designed for it, and I don't think anybody is. We have to find our path. And eventually I got back to going to AA, got a roof over my head. It was pitiful and horrible, but at least it gave me the opportunity to try sober living. And it took a long time to understand that I couldn't do it on my own. So, fellowship keeps me sober. That's the fellowship of AA. If I'm not sober, I can't do the rest of life. So, sober is first, and that sounds harsh, but it has to be. So I can love people, and they can love me back, because I'm human again, and I can find something useful to do. So what is the Fellowship of AA, and how does it help me? Well, I'll share the statement of intent here, and it goes like this. Get it the right way up. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. It does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So, only one requirement for membership, a desire. Only a desire to stop drinking, and then to share the message. And that's what I try and do here. And I do it because it helps me, and it also helps people who can't get out to meetings. And December is all about the 12th step of the program, 12 steps of action for individuals. And you know, the gift is that we need to do them all in a day, if we can, if they're appropriate and if they are applicable. And there's a book called The 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, and in this, in the final 12th step chapter, it gives a summary of the 12-step action program, and I like it, I love it, because it sums up in a few words, and I've just about got time to do them here. So these are the 12 steps. Page 110. AA's manner of making ready to receive this gift lies in the practice of the 12 steps in our program. So let's consider briefly what we've been trying to do up to this point. Step 1 showed us an amazing paradox. We found that we were totally unable to be rid of the alcohol obsession until we first admitted that we were powerless over it. In step 2, we saw that since we could not restore ourselves to sanity, some higher power must necessarily do so if we were to survive. Consequently, in step 3, we turned over our will and our lives to the care of God, or good conscience, as we understood him or it. For the time being, we who were atheist or agnostic discovered that our own group, or AA as a whole, would suffice as a higher power. Beginning with step 4, we commenced to search out the things in ourselves which have brought us to physical, moral, and spiritual bankruptcy. We made a searching and fearless moral inventory. Looking at step 5, we decided that an inventory taken alone wouldn't be enough. We knew we had to quit the deadly business of living alone with our conflicts, and in honesty confide these to God and another human being, or to good conscience too. At step 6, many of us balked, for the practical reason that we did not wish to have all our defects of character removed, because we still loved some of them so much. Yet we knew we had to make a settlement with the fundamental principle of step 6. So we decided that while we had some flaws of character that we could not yet relinquish, we ought nevertheless to quit our stubborn, rebellious hanging on to them. We said to ourselves, this I cannot do today. Perhaps I can stop crying out, no, never. Then in step 7 we humbly asked God to remove our shortcomings, such as he could or would under the conditions of the day, we asked. In step 8 we continued our house cleaning, for we saw that we were not only in conflict with ourselves, but also with people and situations in the world in which we lived. We had to begin to make our peace, and so we listed the people we had harmed and became willing to set things right. We followed this up in step 9 by making direct amends to those concerned, except when it would injure them or other people. By this time, at step 10, we had begun to get a basis for daily living, and we keenly realized that we would need to continue taking personal inventory, and that when we were in the wrong, we ought to admit it promptly. In step 11, we saw that if a higher power had restored us to sanity and had enabled us to live with some peace of mind in a sorely troubled world, then such a higher power was worth knowing better by as direct contact as possible. The persistent use of prayer and meditation, we found, did open the channel so that where there had been a trickle, there now was a river which led to sure power and safe guidance from God or good conscience, as we were increasingly better able to understand him. So, practicing these steps, we had a spiritual awakening, about which finally there was no question. Looking at those who were only beginning and still doubted themselves, the rest of us were able to see the change setting in. From the great number of such experiences, we would predict that the doubter who still claimed that he hadn't got the spiritual angle, and who considered his well-loved AA group the higher power, could presently love God and call him by name, or just simply good conscience. And in the end of these videos, although I haven't got very much time, I just say the serenity prayer to God. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is for me just for today.